today. And certainly, if you have further questions outside of that, join us on the B side over on NFD.
All right, good afternoon. It is Saturday, July the 18th. It is Support Your Parks weekend out at the Pota Parks. I've already been out today to do a little Pota activation. I was out at Cedar Hill State Park, and I made 16 contacts. 14 were phone, and 2 were CW. I just wanted to get the park activated real quick, and I wasn't trying to make a lot of contacts there. The Irving Amateur Radio Club had a pavilion rented there for the entire day, but they decided that it was too hot and they didn't want to go out, so the pavilion was available for anyone that's a member of the group that wanted to use it. So I went out with my radio, my antennas, and I was met there by Mike, that's N5WJS, and I kind of showed him how I set up my 891, and we used just a 17-foot whip to make a few contacts, and this is what the map looks like for it. I actually got Victor Echo 9 Charlie Foxtrot up in Canada, and most of the other connections were out to the east. So that's Support Your Parks weekend. If you don't want to go out to the park, you can support the parks by just hunting the activators and making connections with them. All right. Also, I noticed that on contestcalendar.com, there is a North American QSO party for RTTY. And it says it starts at 1800 Zulu. And it is 1818 now. So I'm going to see if I can make a few contacts there. So I got to see what the exchange is. The exchange, if you're in North America, it says it's your name plus your state. Name plus the state. So let me open FLDIGI. Alright, I gotta get my screens right. Let's put you over there. Everyone being the one person that's going to come in and watch. So I'm going to go into FLDIGI. You got to open another window here, the signal browser. I'm going to start a new logbook for this contest. What is it? 2026 NA QSO. You can see right here I had one for 2024 also. All right, so we're in a new one. We got to find the all right, the exchange name plus date. So on my answer here, I'll right click that and I'm going to send name and state. All right, that's the same as the weekly RTTY contest, name and state. So the final will be good there. The CQ, I need to change that to, I guess, NA. NAQSO. So I'm going to say CQ North America QSO Party from my call sign. All right. Got to set my mode down here to RTTY. You go op mode and you look for RTTY, and most times they're using RTTY 45. If they're not, they'll tell you. Da, 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 da. All right, we want, we are on the, what is this, the LDG Z11 Pro Auto Tuner, so we're limited to 30 watts. I'm going to set it down to 30. I'm going to set my mode to data upper sideband. I can do that on the radio. It'd be a lot faster. Get my camera on, if I can switch over here. All right, so we're going to go here. We're going to go data upper sideband. The roofing filter there is at 3 kilohertz. We want to make sure our bandwidth is at 3000. It's at 3000. And what's the other thing? You might want to make that smaller so you can see. All right, that's good right there. Okay. There's one more thing I'm missing. I hear some RTTY there already. All right, we're going to turn off the noise reduction. Oh, I know the other thing. I gotta set my mixer back to 33. There we go. All right, so let's see if we can pick up some of these. I'm looking at the weekly, well, not the weekly. This is the North American QSO Party for RTTY. I've got FLDIGI set to do everything. I believe it's set correctly. Data upper sideband 3000. Lower left hand corner, make sure it says RTTY. And we're ready to see if we can get some of these. I'm going to look at that one first. And of course, when I start to look at it, they stop sending. Alright, here we go. CRW. Oh, where's my meters? I'm not decoding that signal too well, so I'm going to go to another one up here. See, this one right here is clear. You can see Todd, Illinois. Trying to get a signal here, but none of them are showing up. Let me move up just a little. Up or down. It's stronger right there, so I'll leave it right there. I'm hearing the signals, but they're not showing up on the signal browser here, so I'm going to move on to the next one I hear, which is that one. There's a CQ there. The VA7M, Ace, Tennessee. Alright, that's a response to someone. NJ4P is calling CQ. Alright, there's a response. It's Ace in Tennessee. And I will respond back. Joe in Texas. Alright, so let me see if I click the name here, which is Ace. Alright, it puts it in the exchange box. But it won't put the state in there. Let me see if I click it again. So it puts it in the exchange box, but it doesn't put the state in there. So I'm going to log it here. And it's not letting me type in the notes box because I'm not in the notes field. So Ace in Tennessee. And log that QSO. Alright, I'm going to grab this other one over here. Just by clicking on the double bars there. Alright, there's something to below that. There we go. I wasn't seeing the entire signal browser, so I moved it down there. Now we got to find another signal to get onto, which might be here. The signal to the left sounds a lot louder though. Now the this one I clicked on stopped sending, so I may have to move again. Alright, here it goes. Oh, that's NJ4P, I already got you. A lot of noise, but I'm not seeing a lot of the signals. Let's lock onto that big one and see if I can decode anything from there. This is similar to what I do on Thursday evenings during the weekly RTTY contest. AA2MF may be calling CQ. On that weekly RTTY contest, it goes for 30 minutes, but this one lasts a couple hours. QRZ right there, I'll send my call, AA2MF. There's a response. It's Rich in Florida. Excuse me. Now I know this exchange box logs to different ADI fields. I got to figure out which ones those are. In the meantime, I'm just going to keep the exchange in the notes as well, so I can keep track of them. Alright, we're going to move up. Hearing signals, but I don't see them on the browser here. So let's see what this strong one is. Again, just double click on the double lines. Looks like I'm a little to the right of it. Now it looks like it's centered. But I'm not decoding. I saw Derek in Indiana up here, so I moved over to that one. And of course now the other one comes up. So you have to kind of bounce around until you can find a good signal. I'm running with the, what is this? The FTDX10 going into a N3RC is calling CQ. I am not decoding you though. If it was decoding, it would show up in this yellow box here. Alright, N3RC did call CQ, so I'm going to wait for him to finish that one. Alright, the FTDX10 is going to a FLDIGI Z11 Pro tuner. That's going out to a Palomar endfed. Here's the CQ here. The Palomar endfed is a 9-to-1 unknown. That's why I'm using the tuner here. CQ N3. It looked like N3RC. I'm going to respond one more time. Alright, he's responding to another one. So I'll wait a second. The endfed is 71 foot long. It slopes up to a painter's pole, about 20 feet high. So it's sloping down on both sides, and it seems to work pretty good. There's the CQ and 3RC. I'm responding again. It doesn't respond. I'll assume he can't hear me. All right, no response. All right, so I've hunted a few. Let me find a spot and call CQ. Well, I'll check these first, of course. There's WW4LL calling CQ. Yeah, I saw the CQ there, and it disappeared. All right, Fred in Georgia. James in New York. Somebody will come back with the CQ. WW4LL. So I'll respond to that one. All right, didn't get a response there. I'm going to respond to him one more time. All right, I'm going to find a spot to call CQ here. Every time I try to find a spot, I hear a stronger signal, so I try to get to it. All right, there appears to be 4 signals here. So I'm going to squeeze between those 4. And you should see me calling CQ on 14083. All right, 139, we're calling CQ. CQ on 20 meters at 30 watts. For the North American RTTY Party. And I usually just wait for this line, this yellow line, to get down to the bottom before I call CQ again. That gives them time to respond. All right. There's Jim out at the Pota Park. Might have to switch over and try to get him. Alright, calling CQ, trying to get a contact. Still see WW4LL down there with a strong signal. I'm trying to alternate my calls with his so we don't interfere with each other. Alright, I am not being spotted by the reverse beacon network. Probably because I'm doing 30 watts. I need to move up to 40. Okay. There we go. Ready. Data side pan. 3 kilohertz. All my settings are good since I've made contacts with others here. The ALC is low. It says around 30 watts. Alright, looks like everybody moved off of here. I don't hear anything now. Alright, there's a lot of signals right there. Somebody keeps sending over and over again. Let's try that one. You can see there's a different digital signal mixed in right here. Already has the 2 bars. And this one is some other type of digital signal in the middle there. So let me switch there and call CQ. I may have to refresh over here. No, this is active. Alright, what I'm going to have to do is switch over and go straight to the, I'm going to go switch over and go straight to the radio. But I gotta run outside and I gotta switch a cable around. So give me a few seconds, I'll be right back. Come on. All right. All right, that cable has been moved, and I am plugged directly into the radio. So I got to turn the tuner on the radio. Let's see where it is. I'll turn it on so you can see it here. Radio. Let's get off band a little bit. Should be at 5 watts, yep. Alright, it's a little high. I'm going to tune it here. And I have the auto tuner. It tunes automatically, but you're limited to 30 watts digital. So now there's a good SWR. Back to data. We're going to set our power up to 40 watts. And we're going to do some more hunting here. See if the 10 watts makes a difference. There's a clear signal right there. And of course it's not the one I'm listening to. Trying to figure out which one of those signals is giving me this, taking my bar all the way up to the top there. It's IZ in Colorado, WOIZ in Colorado. Let's see if they call CQ here. And let's see. We got Andy in Illinois. WOIZ. See if I can get WOIZ. We're at 40 watts here. SWR is low. ALC is low. Now he's saying thank you W0IZ, but I didn't see a CQ. And of course we give them one more try. If we can't get them 10 times, we have to try one more time. W0IZ. Alright, I see they're saying NAQP for the North American QSO party. So I'm going to shorten mine. And I hear my AC is kicking on, so it might be causing a little noise here. Let me shut it off. Thank you, W0IZ. Alright, I'm going to try one more time for that one. Alright, there's a response. And I send my answer. IZ in what? Colorado. We'll log that one. I was going to change that. So I'm going to right click on this button, and instead of saying NA QSO, I'm going to say NAQP. And you have to apply it. You just can't hit close on that one. Every time I hear a signal, it goes away, then another one comes up. So you just have to kind of chase them until you get the one you want. Alright, that's the one I just got. So let's try. Somebody's coming in low down here. I already got N3RC. See him on the browser here. Bob in Ohio. KD9MS, it looks like. No, I can actually type in the box here. Alright, so let me find an empty spot here, like right there. And I will call CQ. See the SWR is next to nothing with the internal tuner. I'm going to call CQ here a few times, see if anyone responds. Alright, there's my spot on 14085 at 18 dB from a 7 call sign, so that's a little bit to the west of where I am most times. I was going at 30 watts calling CQ, and I wasn't being seen by the spot page or the reverse beacon network. I switched my power to 40 watts and I'm being seen there. That's also helpful for someone that has me in their ham alerts. If that reverse beacon network can pick me up, it'll probably come up in a ham alert for someone. But I'm not getting a response to my CQ, so I keep calling CQ. "18 dB" it says. And I still see Jim there calling, and I want to get Jim on pota. Alright, so since no one responded there, let's see where Jim was here. Oh, it's in this other window. Jim's on 14034.5 doing CW. Let's see if I can hear him first of all. Yep, there he is. got somebody faster than I could respond. And you'd see the SWR is a little bit higher, so I should retune. I'm gonna see if his signal clears up though, because I got it at 40 for the volume, but I'm not hearing it. Alright, so let's go off frequency here. And we're going to tune up in AM mode. And go back to where he was, 34.5. Let's see if we can hear him any better. Here he is again. There's a response. He says, "Thank you, Joe." He's starting to fade, but I can still hear him. Alright, let's get that volume back down. Alright, we need to log that. I log with Hamrs, so I put it in there. And why is Hammer got a white screen? Something is locked up in it. Alright, let's restart Hamrs. So look for the pota spots on 20 meters. It's this one right here. That's Jim. I just talked to him, so I'll put copy. I'm really not concerned with the signal report. And it shows in Hamrs I've logged 41 QSOs with him. But it's more than that, because all of my contacts are not in Hamrs. So if I go WB0 RLJ, yeah, right there. Yeah, you can see I've got a total of 83 contacts with him. Let's see how far back this goes. Well, it says 83, page 1 of 1. So this goes back to August of 2023. And they're all CWs. And almost all of them are pota contacts, except for a few of these. Some of these are just random contests, like the slow speed contest. But let's get back to RTTY. And I stopped for that because it's in my ham alert here. This top window is my ham alert. When people show up on my ham alert, I try to contact them. Kilo Echo, that's That's too long ago, so I won't worry about that one. So let's go back to FLDIGI. Got to make sure we're back in data mode, data upper side pan. And we want to go to, well, we want to go to our radio. And usually RTTY starts around 80, 14080. I'm hearing some strong signals there. See if I can get any one of them though. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. I guess I pulled it down a little bit. All right, Bud in Maryland. I don't know if he's responding or someone's responding to him. N8WCP. No, N8WCP is responding there. Gotta figure out who they're responding to. All right, W3LL. So I will send my call to W3LL. When I click his name here in the yellow box, it populates up here in this call box. And that makes that call sign available to my macros. He's responding to Red in Texas. He sent another CQ, so I'm responding to that CQ, hopefully. He might not be hearing me since he sent another CQ. All right, here's a CQ. His CQs are coming too fast. All right, W3LG it looks like, but there's something at the end. Sent a QRZ question mark, but I don't know who sent it, so I have to wait for him. Bud, Maryland. All right, nothing heard. Oh, here we go, CQ test. W3LL again. That's your last chance, W3LL. No response. So they possibly can't hear me. All right, CQ N3RC. I've already got N3RC. Maybe I tried the N3RC and didn't get a response. All right, I'm going to move right there and call CQ. We're still at 18 dB. Oh, that's the original spot for 18 dB. So it's a good signal. 18 dB is pretty good. But I was out at the Pota Park today, out at Cedar Hill State Park in Texas. I was only hearing signals on 20 meters. Nothing on 17, 12, or 15. Well, we got on 17, and there was two guys doing an activation somewhere else, and I had to go adjust my antenna because it's the 17-foot whip. I have to adjust it down for 17 meters. And when I got back to my seat where I was activating, the signal dropped completely. I couldn't hear them at all, so they were gone. So everything I did today was on 20 meters. There was no noise floor out there either. My meter was below the 1. It was very quiet there. Whereas here at home, I've got looks like S3 to S4 noise. And that's just because there's a bunch of houses around, a bunch of air conditioners in the way, that kind of thing. No response. Alright, they're not responding to my CQs here. Where is... where's the thing I want? I want to go look at the reverse beacon network to see if they're seeing me at all. Alright, we want 20 meters here. Yeah, I've only got that one spot from RTTY. And I've called CQ a few times, so it shouldn't have a problem. SWR is low. But I'll keep going until I get somebody to respond or I get a stronger signal right next to me. Like that one. And 3RC didn't respond last time. W0IZ I've already got turned red there. That means I already got them. Data ready. 3,000. Alright, we're at 3,000. I'll try N3RC one more time. I hit CQ instead of my call sign. He said again. And of course he was responding to me. Alright, N3RC is definitely not hearing me because I'm not getting any response from him. Alright, let's try this one. That call sign's kind of jumbled there. K6I. can't make out the call sign for that one. WV6I, it looks like. And of course, now it's gone. Not getting anything from any of these. So of course, we will call CQ again. I didn't bother checking the solar conditions. Still with the one spot there already. Let's go ahead and look at those solar conditions. It says 105, 24 for the sunspots is really low. And the only frequency that's good says 20 meters, so you may have to wait till later to make more contacts if the contest is still going on. Let's see. N3RC again. Responding to N3RC and call CQ again because he can't hear me. I heard a signal way down here. And I've already got WOIZ. See if we can hear any of these. Did I get KG7VIZ? Okay, that's the same signal. I'm going to call CQ a few more times. The fact that I'm not being spotted lets me know my signal's not getting out very far. I've already upped my power to 40 watts. I guess we could go 50 watts. So let's call CQ there a few times, see if we get spotted again. ALC didn't change much. This is the North American QSO party for RTTY. If you go to contestcalendar.com, you can get information on it. The exchange is just your name and your state. Alright, there's another spot for me down there from a 6 call sign, so that's out west also. There's another spot from the 7, that's also out west. See if anybody picks me up, though. I moved my power up 10 watts, another 10 watts, and I got spotted again. We go back to the reverse beacon network here. See, now I have 3 spots. The longest is 1,200 miles away. So you can see both of the spots are coming from the west there. That just means there's a station out west that heard me. But if these guys aren't willing to respond, I am perfectly happy to go hunt some pota CW. All right, no one's responding for the RTTY contest for me, so I'll go back to, I'll hunt a few pota sites, get them on the screen here. Why is that window so big over there, though? All right, I've already hunted Jim here, so he turned green. Let's do that. And you hear nothing. That's how it's been in the summertime. Most of the day, I don't hear anything at all except FT8 and CW. Like right now, I'm on CW upper. And I can barely hear that down to the noise. I'm going to just go through the spot page, see if I can pick up some of these. Doesn't sound like I will. Don't see much out on the waterfall there. Again, I was out at the park this morning about 9 a.m. I was there from 9 a.m. to 11. It was humid when I got there, and it started to warm up about 10. So I made a few more contacts out there, and before I left, I met another ham out there, and I actually showed him how I set my radio up, and he made some contacts. He actually did an activation there as well. I had 16 contacts, and he had 11 contacts. And right around 11 o'clock, it got too hot. We had to get out of there. All right, I'm not hearing much here. Last place I check is my DX spots here. Let's see if I can reach some of these. I've been hearing beacons on 10 meters all week. But when I switch over to 10 meters, I can't hear anything. All right, let's see if anybody's doing CW. That's a beacon. Anything with the /B on it is a beacon. I guess I could check some of the other bands for CW also. Let's go. I'm hearing nothing on 17 meters. It's like dead air. Or something down to the noise there from Wisconsin. Alright, 15 meters maybe. Right, so I'm hearing nothing on sideband, nothing on CW. Hear a lot of beacons, but nothing else. Alright, I heard a Parks on the air there. Alright, so let's tune up for 15 meters. Tune. And just because I can hear him doesn't necessarily mean that he can hear me. Because I don't hear him right now. Did I close it? Yeah, I did. I closed Hamrs, my logging software. 21,430 is what it says. It just sounds like he's fading out now. 21,430. Yeah, the signal is faded down. It was loud in the beginning there, but now I can't hear it. But I'll check the rest of these. And what I was going to do, I closed Hamrs. I was going to open up WSJTX to do FT8. I need the other thing. Well, I need to close FLDIGI first. As you can see down here, the signal is very low on 15 meters. Whoa, that's super loud. And again, since I'm going straight to the radio, I may have to tune again. There should be a PTT on here somewhere. Or maybe not. Okay, whenever I run FT8, I run Grid Tracker, because Grid Tracker will log the contacts for me automatically. Alright, let's find an empty spot here. Alright, well, it's on the other screen, but gotta find a clear spot here where we can start transmitting. Doesn't appear to be one too clear, so we'll just go there. I want my power back at 40 though. All right, where's the other thing? Grid tracker. All right, that's there for grid tracker. All right, let's see if we can do any better with FT8. I can actually put that right there. There's a CQ pota from British Columbia. Right, there's somebody in El Paso. All right, SWR is right at 2, which is not where I want it. If he doesn't respond, I'll tune up again. When I tune up here, I go to AM and I set my power to 5 watts. Power's at 5 watts. And I tune up. Of course, I am in split mode, so I forgot to turn the split off. So I may have been transmitting on data upper sideband, but let's see what else we can do here. There's another CQ pota. SWR is down. Power's down. Power's still at 5. I gotta put it back up to 40. I've got these little meters here that come off of the FLRIG. They're not 100% accurate, but they're pretty close. Usually the ALC is reported here as a little higher than what it actually is. But if it doesn't show anything here, I know that the ALC is good. My power's at 20 watts. That's because I switched back, so I gotta put my mixer here back at 38. That's the mixer within Linux lets you adjust the output levels, and I have found that the levels for WSJTX and the levels for FLDIGI are different, so I have to switch between them each time. All right, that one is not responding. Let's go. We'll look for another one here. First one is called CQDX. Let's do the other one. All right, so you see up here we're at 40 watts. SWR is not really much because we tuned it, and the ALC is low, so it should be good from there. I'm just going to do a little FT8 to see what my signal's doing and go back and look at the map. There's a response from that station in Louisiana, KJ5PTH. And I've been off for a little while from Parks on the Air because I've been going fishing, basically. The spring until like midsummer, I do a lot of fishing. And I haven't been out at the parks. I made an exception today. I didn't go fishing because the Irving radio group was having an outing out at the state park for Support Your Parks weekend. Unfortunately, some of the members are a little bit older and they didn't want to come out in the hot sun. So they canceled the actual meetup, but they had already paid for the pavilion there. So they said any member that wants to come out and use the pavilion at the park is welcome to do so. So I went out, and when I got to the park, there was 2 hams already there. I was hearing them on 146.520 as I was pulling into the park. But they said they were not members and they were set up somewhere else in the park. So I went to the pavilion, which is a nice little covered area. If it wasn't so hot, I probably could have stayed there all day, because I had my what is this thing called? I had my little battery that's got the plug for the it's got a plug for solar panels. So I had my solar panel plugged into the battery, and it was at 99% the whole time I was there. So I was actually transmitting on 50 watts sideband, doing CW on 40 watts. And I didn't lose any power because I had the solar panels attached to the battery. So right now I'm ready to go out tomorrow morning, and my battery's already at 99%. So I'm going to call CQ a few times here and see if anything picks up. Make you bigger over there since there's not stuff over there. I'm going to let that go. I think I got some stuff set up to be on top though. Alright, so the chat's on top. Let's take it off. Meters are on top, but those are good. And the radio is on top, so let's look over at the pota site that I was at. Pota. I think you get some type of award if you go out on a support your parks weekend. If you just hunt the parks, you don't have to turn in the log. So when the activator turns in their log, you will get an award that says you were an activator. It's like right here, support your parks activator. Okay, we got somebody at +7, N8PFK. And this is the reason the old hams don't like FT8, because you can do other stuff while you're making contacts. And they complain that that's not real radio. But I don't care. If you're making a contact with the radio, it's ham radio. So that was in Michigan. So I'm going to call CQ again. I think I can just do that. No, I can't do that. It's way over there. Nope. I was trying to get back to that Chrome window I had open. There it is. All right, back under the awards, the Support Your Parks activator. Let's see if I got one for summer 26. Yeah, here's the one for summer 26. It's a little PDF file. I usually scroll it down and I'll do a capture of it. Now I was out with another ham today, and he was actually using my radio because I was just showing him how to do parks on the air stuff. He actually did an activation, so if he turns in his logs, he will be considered. He'll be considered an activator for Support Your Parks Weekend. Here's another contact here. Let's go there. Let's go there. That one was from Ohio. All right, we're going to take that. Did we copy that? Yeah, we copied it. All right. I belong to two radio clubs. One's the Irving Amateur Radio Club out in Irving. I do all of any type of communications with the club through Discord here. I don't really go to the meetings. Same for the Dallas area or Dallas Amateur Radio Club. I'm a member there, but I just do everything on Discord. And I thought I saw Mike post something earlier. Maybe he put it over here. Yeah, there. He put it right there. I'll tell him if he posts. So this is just a Discord for the Dallas Amateur Radio Club. And this one is for Irving. And we'll stick it in there too. All right, let's see. Okay, we got another contact. That's not ham radio. Yes, it is. I'm using a radio to make contact, so it is ham radio, people. Calm down. All right, where was that one from? That was Tennessee. All right, we did that. We did that. My awards. I've already got hunted all states. The two hardest ones for me were Hawaii and what's the other one? I think it was New Hampshire. Hawaii and New Hampshire. It took me forever to get those, but I did finally get them. And of course, all my parks are in Texas, and I've only activated 3 parks because of the distance between parks. I think I've showed that before, but let me finish the rest of this before I go on. Cedar Hill State Park, which is the park I go to most times. I've made 80 park-to-parks with other hams that were in the park at the same time. So that's the biggest number of park-to-parks that I have is Cedar Hill here. Then you can see, you get all kinds of awards that you can look at. I don't even look at the 6-pack. That's the 6-meter stuff. The Hunter. Oh, don't look at that one. And the operator to operator. K7CAR, I haven't seen him in a while. The N2 NWK, that's the one that he's normally up in DC. and he will be at like 7 parks at the same time because of the way the parks are so close there. So I've got all of these in my, what do you call the thing? I've got them all in my ham alert. So if any one of these guys gets online, I get a notice and I try to get to them. And again, this one is Jim, and those are all CW contacts, those 83s. And what was I gonna? Oh, I was gonna show you the map thing. So if we go map, oh, I don't even have my chat window open. Oh, where is it? There. There's nothing in it, so it's okay. All right, this is where I live, right in here. This is the Dallas-Fort Worth area. The only parks available to me are right here, Cedar Hill State Park. That's one I go to most of the time. The other park is Spring Creek Forest State Preserve. Now that's about a 40-minute trip because of traffic in the area, and it is a smaller park, and they have little porta potties on the outside, and the parking is limited. So I don't go to that park very often, but I do go sometimes. Cedar Hill State Park here, that's a 15-minute drive. And if you look all around, you don't see any other yellow dots here. The next closest one is way out here in Tawakoni. There's 2 out in Tawakoni over here. There's nothing down south unless you want to go over here to Purtis Creek. There's a few that are southwest of Fort Worth. So even if I wanted to do a 5-er or something like that, I have to spend a tank of gas getting around to all these sites. So that's why I go mostly to this one, Cedar Hill State Park. And I'm still up on the leaderboard here. I haven't been in a while, so maybe moving down. I'm still on the activator, QSO, still moving down. Some of those guys are doing hundreds and hundreds of contacts a day. So they've passed me. There's Maurice up at the top, KM5RF. Maurice will make 300 to 400 contacts. It's easy. I've met most the K5MGY, Joe. I don't think I've met Joe K5MGY, but I've met Dominic here. This one, Micah, and of course Maurice. Because since it's such a large park, you run into hams all the time out at Cedar Hill State Park. And I haven't heard from the number 2 hunter, Kilo 7 Sierra Echo November. That's Neil out in Arizona. Usually when I'm out at the park, I talk to Neil every time. But I haven't heard from him in a while. I'll check on him. Alright, I haven't made any contacts. What's going on here? Alright, we got a runaway watchdog. So I've been calling CQ and nobody responded. So it stopped transmitting. So I'm going to try to get this QRP station. That's in Harris County. That's down in the Houston area. We'll see if 20 meters is going local today. Or short as they call it. Looks like it is. I'm reaching him. I was out at the park and we heard K5 KAB on 20 meters, and he was plus 20 on my meter, but he's too close. I couldn't reach him. He's in Irving. I was in Cedar Hill. That's maybe 10 to 12 miles. So I couldn't actually make the contact, even though I was hearing him at plus 10. All right, we got you down in Harris County. And we'll wait for the next one. Did close that. All right, what do we got here? We got a POTA station, K0C. That's up in Kansas. See if I can make that smaller, yeah. Put it right there. There's another one. That one's coming back to me. So let's go look at, let's go look at the thing. Let's go look at how my signal's doing. I want 1 hour, I want 15 minutes. All right, there's another one. He was +2. All right, here's how my endfed's doing right now. It's pretty good coverage. There's usually a hole right here because you don't have a lot of hams down in this part of Texas, and you don't have a lot of hams down in Mexico, but the coverage looks pretty good here. It's about normal. There's usually a gap right here between, what do you call this, North and South Dakota, because it's, again, not a lot of hams. It's usually cold there, I believe. But I'm getting into California, Southern California, and Mid-California here, which is where a bunch of hams are. So if I go back, and there's one calling CQ pota here, K2JB. Let's see if we can get this one on the top. He's in Wisconsin. All right, here's the spread again. So 20 meters is doing pretty good for FT8, but not for sideband and CW. All right, that guy didn't come back, or that gal, that guy, that's Alexander there in Wisconsin. All right, he didn't come back. Let's see if anything is heard on 6 meters. All right, there is a, I'm hearing FT8 on 6 meters. All right, I've already tuned 6 meters, so I don't have to retune it. And the ALC is good, and we're at 30 watts, it says. I want it at 40 watts. No, I want it 30 watts for FT8. but I think I'll push it up to 40 for 6 meters. 6 meters has been open a lot this summer, but mostly for FT8. I think I've only made 2 or 3 sideband contacts on 6 meters this year. And you can see on the WSJTX waterfall, there's not a lot of traffic here. I mean, I'm hearing a lot, but I just got to get them to respond. Alright, that's loud. I'll turn that down. How about we call CQ? Calling CQ on 6 meters. Oh. I would really like to do some CW on 6 meters, but I very seldom hear any signals coming across. I've got my ham alert set up for it, but I don't ever see anything. I've got my ham alert set up to send me any CW from 6 meters. Oh, there's W1AW/3. Alright, I'm going to pause that and see if I can get W1AW/3 doing CW. So we have to turn off our split. And they were on what? 14032. Just cut and paste it. Oh, I gotta tell WSJTX to stop. Alright, I gotta close WSJTX. Alright, now we're on 14032 CW. And it's down in the noise. And looking at the meter there, there's not much going on. Alright, signal's fading, but I'm going to try to see if I can get him. About a 5.3 S3 on the meter, but that's where the noise is, the noise floor. So let's turn our RF all the way back up, and you see there's no noise floor. So that's about an S3 signal that I'm getting from W1AW/3. Signal's very low and fading. Keep losing that window. There's a response. Alright, it said thank you and sent my call sign. I gotta log that in Hamrs, which is not open. I keep closing it for some reason. It was W1AW/3. Sometimes it won't look it up with the slash in there, so you take out the /3 and let it look it up. And I sent him a 529. And I don't know what he sent me, so that means he sent me a 599, of course. And if you're using Hamrs and you have QRZ.com, there's an option that you can just upload to QRZ.com. If you've already uploaded them, it won't re-upload again. It just uploads the new contacts. So you just hit upload there and it sends it to QRZ.com. You don't have to export and import and all that stuff. Okay, back to, well, let's see if there's anything else I want to pick up here. Don't see. 40 words a minute on 14. I don't. This is below my privileges. Well, no, it's not. I can do up to 100. This one is doing 40 words a minute, it says. It's a 20 dB signal, but I'm not hearing it. That has to be computer generated. Oh, there's W1AW/9 on 21047. Then Jim is back. Did I get Jim earlier? Yes, I did. Yeah, I got Jim on 20 meters. That signal on 15 meters is fading out. And of course, I'll give it one more try. These are DX spots coming from the DX cluster. And I'm only looking for spots that are heard in Texas. Alright, I'm going to have to turn the speed down for that one. Go down to 15 words a minute. That air keeps kicking on. Alright, they're not hearing me though. But we got W1AW/7 on 20 meters. Says it's an 18 dB signal. Got to turn my speed back up. Alright, the AC just cut off, so there shouldn't be that much noise in here now. Alright, not hearing you on 20 meters there. Alright, so I'm not hearing the rest of those. I want to go back to, that's ready. I want to go back to WSJTX. I was on 6 meters. Alright, let's see if we can call CQ on 6 meters. Or pick up the next one that comes through. CQ test. I assume that means CQ contest. But I don't know which one you're looking for. Sometimes the different contests want different exchanges, so you have to be ready for it. Alright, he didn't respond the first time, so I'll send him one more. It's in Florida on 6 meters. 5. Alright, doesn't come back this time, then I'll call CQ. How about that? And I like to call CQ on even most times. I don't know why, it's just something I like to do. I've kind of adjusted myself to doing it that way. So we're calling CQ on 6 meters. If you've got a radio and you want something to do, see if you can pick me up there. See if you can hear me at least. If you're a technician, you can operate on 6 meters. N7TND. What is that? And the chat is still empty because I got it set for subscriber mode. Because I had some idiot come in one time making a bunch of noise and typing stuff I couldn't recognize. So rather than deal with that, I just make it subscriber mode and talk to anyone that is a subscriber. Let's say hello chat. All right, we're calling CQ on 6 meters. Trying to see if we can get a response. And while that's going, of course, we can do other things. Since I'm here, I've got this, how did I get here? Yeah, on Google, I've got a little checklist that I use before I go out and do pota, which usually helps me so that I don't forget something that I'm going to need. Normally shows up here, but of course it's not there. I think it's under radio. No, it's not there. I found it earlier. I forgot how I found it. It might just be under documents. Well, I'm trying to find the little, there's a little spreadsheet that I use that is a checklist for what I need to take whenever I go out and do pota. Now, of course, I can't find it now. Let me look around here, see if I can find it. And meanwhile, in the background, I'm doing FT8. Oh, there's one. It's a portable station. Boom, boom. That was out of California in a 6MG portable. So we're getting out to California on 6 meters. And we'll call CQ again. Maybe it's here under drive.google.com. It's a packing radio checklist. I've got this mobile tab. This is the very basics of what I would need when I go out. So before I leave, I look at this list and I make sure that I have this stuff. If it's in a bag, I take it out of the bag to make sure that I have it. Then I have other tabs for, like, if I'm taking my my big solar panel for the what's this? It's right next to me. The Redodo 100 amp hour battery, and I've got some panels for it, some solar panels, and I've got a checklist here for that. Checklist for my 891 if I'm taking that. Just to make sure I have all this stuff. I don't have to have the GoPro all the time because I don't record all the time. But I want to make sure I take the antenna tuner if I'm going to use a endfed antenna. Another contact, K5RP or FP. That's David in New Mexico. David in New Mexico. And he sent me a +2. So that's going out west, yeah. Back to the checklist. This is everything I need. My CW key. I got a small keypad that I use to punch in the frequencies. If I'm doing digital modes, I've got a little laptop that I use for digital modes, but I don't take most of the time because I usually have some technical issue in it. I spend a lot of time just trying to fix it, so I don't take my laptop most times. If I'm going to take my endfed, that's very basic. I've got a Wolf River, what do you call that? The Wolf River coil. If I want to take that, I got some stuff I want to take with it. I don't think the long wire. What's the long wire? Oh, that's the Palomar 71. If I want to take that one, that's if I've got a lot of space and I want to set up my big antenna. That's when I take that one. The random wire is just the smaller one. It's a little LDG tuner. It's about that big. Not a tuner. It's an unun. It's about that big, and you just connect the wires to it, so you don't need much on there. And then miscellaneous parts. This is my Nano VNA is normally in my top pocket on my backpack. For some reason, I put it in the inside pocket. So when I got out to the park today, I couldn't find my Nano VNA because it wasn't in the top pocket where I normally put it. I didn't bother to look in the inside pocket because that's not where I normally keep it. But I will still use this checklist and try to put that in the top pocket there. Pens, notebooks, a little Baofeng that I have on 146-520. When you're sitting in the park making contacts, you can listen for other hams coming in and out. Like I said earlier, I was hearing two of the hams that were already in the park as I was pulling up to the park. And I've got when I use my, I can't remember what this thing is. I'm going to have to go look. Let me look real quick. It's all turned the other direction. All right, it's a Jackery. When I use my smaller battery, it's a Jackery, and it's got a solar panel. And I take that to, it's got a, it doesn't have power pole adapters, but it does have the cigarette adapter on it. And I have a little adapter I have to make sure that I take whenever I'm going to take the Jackery out. And I use this every time I go out. Only exception is like for tomorrow. I'll probably be out in the morning. I've got everything in my bag already, so I'm just not going to take anything out of the bag, so I should be okay. And no contact here. What are they doing? A runaway watchdog calling CQ. So you can talk and do other things and make FT8 contacts in the background. All right. Where's the thing? 2016 North American QSO party. That's the RTTY. VHF digital contest will be going on. Let's see what that is about. VHF digital. I'm gonna have to go find it. Russian team. So here are all the contests on the left side. CQ Worldwide VHF Digital. Alright, it says 6 meter and 2 meter. The exchange is your 4-character grid square. All right, we're going to stop you there. You're not responding. No, I picked this one because it's got a 3 dB signal here. The other options were -13 and -7. So I'm hoping I can get the stronger station there. I'm going to have to turn my AC back on. It's heating up in here. So if you hear a little buzz come through, it's just the AC coming on. All right, I got two answers here. One from Arizona. The other's from EL98, wherever that grid square is. All right, now I got a third person. Well, no, that's the same. There's this N6OLD is responding. I'll pick him up next. So he's right there. I just double click it. And it generates the messages here and it gets ready to respond to him. In Tangerine, Florida. And I'm not hearing much else on the bands here as far as sideband. CW is kind of sketchy. It looks like 20 meters again is the only place that I'm hearing anything. All right, if this guy doesn't respond, I'm gonna go back and look at some of that RTTY and see if maybe propagation has changed for me and maybe I can make some contacts now. All right, no response. So we're going to close WSJTX. Going to close the grid tracker. Go back into FLDIGI. Radio's already in data upper sideband. It's already in the mode it needs to be in. It's not seeing my radio though. All right, FLDIGI is not talking to FLRIG right now. I'm going to close that. FLDIGI is locked up on me. So let's kill it. All right, we closed it. And we're still controlling the radio. What is it? It's that one right there. We're still controlling the radio with FLRIG. So FLRIG is working. Let's go back into FLDIGI again. Still nothing. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, I had this problem before and I thought I had it figured out. What I might have to do is close FLRIG and restart it. Alright, FLRIG opens, FLDIGI doesn't start working automatically. So we got to kill it again. Make sure nothing's open. That's gonna grab FLDIGI. Nothing else is open. Well, Discord is open. Sometimes Discord will conflict with it. Let me close Discord. Let me close FLRIG again. I'm going to power cycle my radio. All right, radio is power cycled. Let's see if we can get FLDIGI running again. All right, we're going to pop that open. All right, now it's talking back to FLRIG, so it's working. We want to go to, what is it? 14080. We're in RTTY mode. 3 kilohertz. 3000. All right, so we want to look for some RTTY signals. All right, there's some RTTY. VE3PJ is calling CQ. We're at 40 watts. Looks like Greg in Ontario is VE3PJ. And we're waiting for a response. VE3PJ. Not seeing anything from VE3PJ. There's another response. All right, he sent a QRZ. There's a response for me, Craig in Ontario. Craig. Ontario. And he says, thank you. And I move on to the next one. If you don't see anything on this signal browser at all, sometimes you have to go view signal browser and leave that other window open and it'll show up right there. If you don't see the signal browser right there, you have to look like right here. There's a point where you move your mouse to the far left of the window there and it changes to double arrows, and you can just slide that out and that'll let you see the signal browser. Now on this version of Linux, I don't know if it's all versions, I've noticed that the signals won't show up in this window until you have the signal browser running in the background here. And you could minimize that, and I don't think it works if you minimize it. I think you have to leave it like that. Yeah, because see how all the signals are popping up now. So you have to leave it like that, so don't minimize it. Looks like AE5GT. Responding to AE5GT. There is a North American QSO party going on for RTTY. The exchange is just your name and your state. Alright, he did not respond to me. I'll send another response to see if he comes back. Alright, there's a response, KI5. I did not get the complete thing though. So I'll say again. Like he's slightly off. Alright, he's not coming back. And it is slightly off there. WV6I just sent a CQ. So I click the call sign here. It populates it here in the call box. Once it's in the call box, I can use it with my macros here. There's my response. It says CHWW, whatever that means. Let's wait for this one and see what it says. It looks like it's Chris in California. I can confirm that by looking up the call sign. WV6I. Let's go here, let's go here. And that is Christopher in California. Yeah, Chris in California. So save that. K5QQ is down here sending something. He sent it again in a question mark. And I'll go K5QQ and I'll send my call sign. Now that one, I don't know who he's responding to. didn't send the call sign. There's another QRZ, so I will respond. Says again. And I always send their call sign so they know who I'm talking to. But they're not responding right now. I'll respond one more time before moving on. Alright, no response. Possibly they can't hear me. Alright, turned red on that call. That means I've already made a contact with them on this band. If it turns yellow, that means I've got a contact with them on a different band. But I've already talked to that one. I moved a little bit up a little bit on the frequency there. I'm not decoding anything there. It's a strong signal, but I'm not decoding anything. I moved a little to the right and it seemed to pick it up. Jim in Missouri. Now I heard NW0M calls EQ, but then there's a bunch of stuff here from Dennis in Utah and Archie in Missouri. Somebody just called CQ, but I didn't see a call sign. So I'll wait for another CQ. That was way below the squelch level over here, that's why. E2O, AH2O. I'm not getting a full decode on that. Let me turn the squelch off here. Looks like AH2O. So I'll send my call to AH2O. Says again. I'll send it again. Alright, no response from AH2O. Alright, let's go down. See if we can call CQ a few times. Excuse me. K5QQ. I think I tried that one earlier, but didn't get a response. But I'm going to try it again, of course. Started out with KI. I don't know if that was KI5 Whiskey Whiskey Tango. I'll turn off the squelch and see if he's sending something else. If the signal's really low and it's below the squelch, it won't decode it. But if the squelch is set real low or it's off like it is right now, you get a bunch more gibberish like this up here. Okay, so maybe he was responding. Jim in Missouri. He says thank you there. And I will log it. Move on to the next one. K2NV. Maybe. Usually when they put the call sign, you see it just 2 times. That's usually the end of someone calling CQ. Alright, that's WV6I. I've already got that one. It turned red. I'm going to move right between the two of those and call CQ. Here's my FT8 spot for 6 meters. Turn my squelch back on. And keep calling CQ. CQ North American QSO party. And you see there's a signal to the left of me and there's a signal to the right of me. So I want to try to stay out of their way so that we don't interfere with each other. There's W1AW/9 on 40, well, on 20 meters with a 40 dB signal. Let's see if I have that one. And I close Hamrs again. I don't know why I keep closing it. Let's see if I have W1AW/9 today. The 18th. I have them on 40 meters here. I do not have them on 20 meters. So what I'll do is I will grab the frequency that they're on. Switch to CW mode. It says they're at 40 dB. I should be able to hear them. I can barely hear that. There's the CQ. Indiana. All right. So let's log that one. That was W1AW/9. And I believe these go toward the, what is it, the ARRL 250 award that they have. Which I really haven't done much of because the band has been so bad. Alright, let's go back 83. Let's go back to data, upper sideband. Saw it there for a second. Alright, my bandwidth is out. You see how it's just a little narrow blue window here? That's how I know the bandwidth is not. It should show this whole thing out to 3000. So I'm just going to adjust my bandwidth here. And that was because I switched over to CW, so it changed it to I believe the default is like 500 for the width for CW. Alright, I already got W6VI. AA2MF, I already got you. MF at the end of the call sign is always funny. We are, how far are we in here? 2 hours and 30 minutes. So I've been doing this RTTY contest. I've done some CW. I haven't tried any sideband though. Only because it's the middle of the day in the summer and the reception is just bad here this time of year. K7BTW. I'm gonna answer CQ again. Alright, I don't think he's hearing me, but of course he gets one more try. Rich, W.A. Rich in Washington. Alright, no response there. So they're not hearing me. So I'm going to move there. I'm going to throw out a CQ. And that noise you hear is the AC. It's probably 100 degrees here. Let's see what it is outside here. Oh, there. Yeah, it's 95 outside. Feels like 101. So that's why the air keeps kicking on and off. Well, it was on and I turned it down lower. And here's my PSK reporter for 6 meters. You can see it's going east and west. It's not going much north and south though. It's all over Florida, it looks like, and then up the East Coast here. You can see where 20 meters is kind of spread out and it goes everywhere. 60 meters is only going to certain locations, it looks like. But that's what they call propagation. If you're a tech and you were on 10 meters having a good time from October to March, and now you can't really hear anything or make any contacts on 10 meters, it's called propagation. That's the way they explained it to me, at least. 10 meters will be back in late September, early October. In the meantime, you can learn CW and you can study up for your general exam. That way you can go on to other bands and make contacts. I did call CQ a few times here. Let's see, that spot was at 2040. What time is it now? I'm not going to do math. I just pull up the clock. 2040. Oh, that's recent, so I still am being heard on RTTY. Just check the spot pages to confirm that my signal's getting out and being heard. What was that thing called? Reverse beacon? Yeah, you see the spots are 8 minutes ago. Larry VA. Alright, I'm not getting any responses to my CQs. AA2MF, I've got you already. When you click on that signal in the signal browser, it starts decoding it. Again, I've already got that one. I'm going to move down here and see if I can get this one. There's a new one. VE3NFN. K7BTW. I tried that one before and didn't get a response, so I'm going to try it again. And again, he's not responding. Alright, let's move up frequency here. Let's go right there. Mark in California. K6 UFO. There's a response. It's Mark in California. There's something down here. I'll click on that. Already got you. K5QQ. Is he saying W6EU? Jim in California is W6EU. Okay, I can't hear the CQ part of it. Move up, CQK. I just got you. Yeah. Alright, so I'm not hearing much on 20 meters. I'm going to what? KIWWT. I didn't respond to anyone. I think someone tried to respond to me here. What's the last one I sent? Yeah, that didn't decode all the way. Alright, so I'm gonna take a break here. Unless, of course, I see some CW right here. Here. And I don't see any CW there. And again, I'm seeing these 10-meter beacons. But when I move down to 10 meters, I don't hear anything. We got W6JL on 20 meter CW. Don't hear it. .27 dB signal, though, reported at the DX spot page here. There's another 2800. Let's go to 28400 and see if we can hear anything on 10 meters. I don't hear anything, and I don't see anything on the waterfall. Nope. Alright, before I go, 140297. One of the ways I test to see if my signal is getting out is I will call CQ using CW. and see if I get spotted by the reverse beacon network. Let me do that here. I'm on 14029.7 CW upper sideband. I'm going to send out a few CQs just to see where my signal's going. And if someone responds, I'm only sending my name and my state. So let's send out a few CQs and see if we can get spotted by the reverse beacon network here. I'm going to go CQ 3 times and then my call sign twice. And then the letter K at the end. Well, I got to send a QRL first to see if the frequency is in use. And I've been listening, so I sent QRL question mark. That means basically, is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? I didn't get a response there, so I will send my first CQ. Alright, that's the first CQ. It usually takes about 2 or 3 for these to get picked up. I've got another camera here. I'm trying to figure out what's the best position to put it in. Oh, okay. So here we go again. CQ 3 times. From KI5 Whiskey Tango. Alright, that's the second time. And since I don't have a spot returned already, that lets me know their conditions aren't really that good. What happened to that box? That little box keeps going. Newer Radio Elmer was there, and I missed it because my chat was minimized. Alright, there's a spot from K3PA. It's 8 dB. But then down here there's a K9 spot that's out, most times out west. 3 dB. Then the 4 is probably this area, but a little bit east, and it's 14 dB. And then I got a partial right here. It says I Whiskey Tango, which is 19 dB, but that's where's that from though? Hold on, let's see. Oh, okay. This is one of the DX clusters that are in Texas, so it my local cluster heard me basically, but it didn't hear the K in my call sign. If somebody comes back at 20 words a minute, they're going to have to slow down. I've kind of figured out that 18 words a minute is my limit. I don't really want to go any faster because I don't really need to go any faster. I do mostly pota with CW, and I do the slow speed contest that happens during the week. I very seldom get into rag choose with CW because it takes too long for me, and it's hard for me to think of what I want to say and then key it at the same time. I'm not at that level yet. I'm still working on it, but there's no hurry, of course. So 18 words a minute is my max. Alright, there's another spot from a 9 call sign, probably out west at 9 dB. Alright, here's somebody on 10 meters. Let's see if I can hear him. And I wasn't looking for a response there, I'm just looking to see if my signal's getting out and what type of signal report I'm getting. Alright, not hearing you on 10 meters there. It says it's a 25 dB signal, but I'm not hearing it. I've already got W1AW/9 on 20 meters. Yeah, I already got that one. K4NY, K4WNY. Darn it, that window keeps disappearing on me. Maybe if I put it on top. Alright, I can hear this one barely. It's down to the noise. But my AC is on, so it's kind of covering up that weak signal. Alright, let's see if we can hear this one on 15. And again, these are just spots from the DX cluster. Anything that's being heard in Texas, I have it show up on my bottom window here. And here's some stronger signals. It's got a beacon there on 10 meters, that's 24 dB. Let's see if we can get one of these. Again, another weak signal. 20 meters is weak for me during the day. Alright, I got one last thing I want to try here. Let's go 28025. It's in computer generated CW on 28025. 28028.6. I want to see if I can actually be heard on 10 meters right now. So I'm going to throw out a few CQs at 50 watts. And I'm listening right now. See if that 14051 is a pota station. Doesn't look like it is. I'm using an endfed antenna, and it's usually very noisy. Alright, nothing heard on 290297, so QRL is the frequency in use. Sounds like my AC is getting louder. But it's hot outside, so what are you gonna do? Alright, I'm gonna send CQ 3 times. Then from, and then my call sign 2 times. Sometimes I do this in the middle of the night on 40 meters and I get responses, so I go ahead and complete the contacts, and it's usually somebody wanting to do one of those long drawn out QSOs, but I try to keep them short. I'll give you the name, the QTH, I'll give you the rig, but after that I don't want to do much more. Got the other radio on 146520. Somebody's trying to break squelch. Alright, I'm going to send one more. One might be 5 or 6. One more. There's a question mark. Somebody sent a question mark. I sent my call back, but I didn't get a response. So I'll call CQ again. It sounded like KE5TWI. I sent KE5TWI question mark. It's KE4. Now I said thank you, James, because I have his name right here. He sent me a 589. He sent me a state, which was Tennessee. I sent him a thank you, a 73, and I'm not going to do a long QSO, so that was it. So that was James in Tennessee. I wasn't, well, you never know when you call out CQ who's going to respond or what. And I still haven't been spotted, so I'm going to call CQ again. This time I'm just going to hit one of my buttons here to play it from the play a recording. I see KA5TXN, but he's only a 6 dB signal here. And I can only guess this last one that I talked to saw me on his waterfall because I haven't been spotted yet. And the radios that have the recording feature on it make it much easier, so you don't have to sit and call CQ constantly. Alright, so I've called CQ a bunch of times on 10 meters here. Haven't been spotted by the reverse beacon network, but I did make one contact. So that's pretty good. I'll give him one more. Alright, no response there. I did see something. KF5IAD. Said it was a 33 dB signal here. But I am not hearing it. Alright, that's probably all I'm going to do for right now. I came on because of the RTTY QSO party that's going on. And it goes on through tomorrow at 5:59 Zulu, which is somewhere around midnight Central Time. I made a few contacts with the with FLDIGI on the RTTY, and I made some contacts on CW. I'm only hearing 20 meters right now. I'm not hearing any other bands as far as sideband and CW. But for FT8, I was hearing 20 meters and 6 meters as well. So there's a 6 meter opening right now. And it appears to be, for me, I'm in Texas, North Texas. It's going straight east and straight west. I was getting a lot of Florida. Let's see if I can bring this back. Set it to 2 hours or so. Give it a second to refresh. Yeah, you can see my 6 meters is in the red right here. Let me turn that camera off. It didn't turn off, so I'll do it manually. Alright, you can see on the map here, my 6 meters is in red. Most of it went straight east and west and a bunch down to Florida. 20 meters was all over the place like normal. That's coming off of a endfed antenna. It's a Palomar Bullet. It's got a 71-foot wire on it, and it's got a 9-to-1 unon. And that requires a tuner since it's a 9-to-1. Alright, I'm going to say 73. Thank you guys for watching. If the signals get better tonight, I might come back and do some more. 73.